All right, so we're doing another dyno today. I'm not really expecting much of a difference. I mean, I hope there's a difference, but I don't think there'll be much of a difference. But I'm paying this money for this dyno just so I can see hands-on, in the flesh, what a cam adjustment would do to the actual power that you will realize. Some people will say maybe not a lot. Some people say it'll just move the curve. I don't know, but I'm just curious, so I'm gonna go do a dyno today and see what it does. And by the way, we're getting some E85 right now. The price is ridiculous. I just filled the car up for $15. E85 is a whopping 95 cents a gallon. It's insane. Every time I come here, she just comes out and stares at me and attacks me. Here we go. Ew.
Same boost?
No.
Torque was amazing better. So here's the 3 today.
234, 235, 234.
Yep. And then there's your last one.
About like a 5 to 7 horsepower increase.
Yeah, but right here is where those are your max, but I mean, you gained a ton in there.
Oh my god.
It was pretty badass.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wow. You want,
Wow. Oh man. Where do I start? So, just came back from the dyno shop. I paid $75 for this dyno. Basically just for the reassurance, just to understand that whatever we're doing on the car has tangible effects and it actually is making a result, whether it's good or bad. So in the beginning I was a little bit suspicious if I should even be doing this, but I'm really glad I did. I don't know, I guess maybe you were able to hear it. It's kind of faint in the previous video when they were finishing up the dyno. The owner of the shop was actually really impressed with whatever we did. Thanks to John's suggestion, because it actually, without changing anything else, it made a significant increase. So what I'm gonna do right now, I have the graphs in front of me. I'm not gonna shoot with the GoPro because you might not be able to see the details. So I'm going to switch to my phone, and that way you could see what we're talking about. So this is the Dyno Dynamics numbers, which are a little bit low than Dyno Jets, of the previous run. Over here we have horsepower on the left, we have engine RPM, and then we have torque. And by the way, bear with me because this is a horrible layout to try to understand anything. There's no numbers indicating peak or whatever. Sometimes these things are off, as you will see, but just bear with me real quick. Put this off over here. This is the sheet from today. So as you can see, the previous high was 229.9 or 230. Today we got 235.2. So not a whole lot, just about 5 horsepower extra. And same thing with torque. Not a whole lot when it comes to the peak. But the main one that I want to look at right now is going to be the comparison graphs laid over on top of each other from the previous run versus today's. Now it's hard to tell because this is all black and white, but basically this line and this line, this is today's line for the torque, this is the previous line for the torque. They go up, come down, whatever. And then today's horsepower versus previous horsepower, they go up and kind of flat line and then they fall down. So bear with me real quick. Horsepower, like I said, is on the left, 100 to 350. Each increment is 25. And same thing over here. Thank God it's actually accurate on this side compared to the other ones. This basically was just a correction to try to say this is what the numbers would have been on a dyno jet. So today's high of 235 corrected to a dyno jet would have been 262.6. If you actually do the math, it's about 11 or 12% of an increase. So I know a lot of times you usually hear if you want to correct, well, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so it's 11 to 12% correction, whatever the case is. Anyway, the point is, when you look at the peak of horsepower from today's run, it's 262 horsepower right here, and the previous run of 255 right there, corrected. So, well, it's actually, this was the wrong one that he used. It should have been 257, so I'm trying to be a little bit more honest. It's a 5 wheel horsepower difference that we got from the peak. Now, same thing with the peak of the torque over here. Today's was 278 foot-pounds. Previous was 260, so that nets you actually a very healthy 18 foot-pounds at the peak, which is very, very nice. But the really impressive thing is I don't want to look at these small peaks or whatever. I want to look at the tangible power throughout the rev range. So when you look, for example, at 3750 RPM for the torque, today's was sitting at 227 foot-pounds compared to 195 foot-pounds from the previous. This whole gap right here that we increased. So you're looking at 32 foot-pounds of an increase. And it's not 32 foot-pounds the whole way, but it is a sizable chunk that you're noticing. Now over here it tapers off, that's why it shrinks, but look at all this power that we gained. And same thing goes for the horsepower. If you look at 4,000 RPM, 227 horsepower today, last time was 197, so that netted us 30 wheel horsepower that we're using in this area. Over here it might be, 28 or whatever the case may be, but it is a sizable chunk. So it's pretty insane. Well, I'm really happy that I went and I spent the 70 bucks on this dyno today, because it really gave me peace of mind and let me know that whatever change we made actually did have an effect. It wasn't just like a placebo or in our minds. So this is improvement. I'm really excited, and I really can't wait to go next time after we figure out that air problem, because we figured out that the car is not sucking in enough air as it should be for what it has on there as far as the mods go. And you could tell by this dyno, it climbs, and then it kind of just tapers off and it dies because it's running out of steam. So from the data logs, we figured out that it's it's pulling in about half the air that it should be, which means that we have a problem. And when we have a problem, that means that we can fix it and make more power, essentially. So I'm looking forward to figuring this out, and then we could take it back hopefully one last time to the dyno and see what kind of a change we can have. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.